IVC Dalegate 433 back. So this is another recent finds video, but there's a kind of theme to them, so it may be also a precursor to a show and tell. So the theme is library music, which has sort of been in and around sort of VC videos recently, and I've sort of been dabbling in library music. I'm a complete novice, but I do enjoy the concept and the music, but I accept it's a little bit hit and miss. So for those of you who don't know what I mean by library music, it's the music that was produced predominantly kind of 60s and 70s by often excellent musicians and bands and orchestras and groups, with the sole aim of having that music used in TV or cinema. So often the music was made for the sake of making music, and they were trying to make the music with a certain theme. Other times it was made to fulfill a brief. So now we've got our kind of Max Richters and Hans Zimmers and who get commissioned to do soundtracks and all that. But previously, obviously, we had Ennio Morricone's and others. But there was also a band of jobbing musicians who would go around looking for an opportunity just to play on these tracks, even compose these tracks, and sometimes make some money if they got picked up. If you want to get into it, I'd heartily recommend the library music film. This is a really fantastic film. It's it's just nearly 2 hours long, and it's got a lot of the 60s and 70s greats that are still around, still with us, feature on this. I mean, my wife watched this film with me, and she didn't know what live music was and had no interest in it, but she found this quite entertaining as well. So even for somebody who's not into music at all, this is an entertaining film. So yeah, heartily recommend it. It's quite hard to get hold of now, but yeah, try and get hold of that. That gets you into it. So these are recent finds, as I said. The first one is a library music album. So these are my kind of go-to for this. Be With Records, that I'm buying quite a lot of from recently. They've been reissuing some of these classic KPM albums, and I've got several, which if I do a show and tell, I'll feature them. So they all look like this, which doesn't really help, but the actual kind of theme or title is on the back. They're all kind of numbered, KPM whatever. So this one is KPM 1157, which is on one side is the Hunter drama suite, and on the other side is Adventure Story. So these are almost two. Each side is a soundtrack, that a non-existent film or TV program, but it creates, say, a number of moods and themes that could be used in. Typically, this is geared up to a sort of a gritty crime or blaxploitation type, but more crime actually. It's not quite as funky as a blaxploitation, but yeah, sort of some sort of crime film, crime TV series. So starts off with, and even this is, so you say, so these are a bit hit and miss as sort of albums you might want to listen to, because it starts off with Theme for a Hunter in the Hunter suite, 2 minutes long, a good sort of, say, gritty kind of crime theme type tune, but then it follows it up with Hunter Link 1, Hunter Link 2, Hunter Link 3, which are 9 seconds, 7 seconds and 6 seconds. So you just kind of get the kind of link, but it's fine. It actually, I really enjoyed just playing this as an album, and it follows that. And typically with library albums, what you get is you get the obviously theme for a hunter. If you're a film or TV producer, doesn't really give you many clues, so that will also give a description. So dramatic contemporary theme is what it says about that. Heavy lead, it says menacing underlying movement. So you get an idea for the type of music, so that if you are, you have got a whole heap of these records and you're going through trying to find something that wants to suit the TV program or the film that you're making, you can kind of get a little bit of a clue, and then you can sample it on the turntable. So that is a genuine library record in my recent finds. So I've picked up a few of these. Now the next 5, I feel like, are modern homages to the library music, you might say. So the next one I bought at the same time as I bought this one. So this is also from Be With Records. This is called Tulips, which is a record by Frank Maston, or I think he just goes as Maston. This is a great funky album, and yeah, almost caught me by surprise. So I sampled it on the Be With site, because you can sample all their records, and I thought, oh yeah, this sounds really kind of chilled funk, and really good for summer evenings or whatever. So I bought it, and then I got it, and it says, well, it's got 45 on the label. So I played it at 45, and I thought, whoa, this is a little bit funky, too funky for what I remember. But it's one of those albums you get occasionally. It plays at 45 or at 33. So I kind of say, but on the label it's got 45. So when I kind of looked on the cover and thought, oh, let's play it at 33. Oh, that's a bit more chilled. Yeah, so it was a little bit. So yeah, if you want the kind of more up tempo, you can play it at 45. If you want a bit of more of a chilled funky vibe, you can play it at 33. So yeah, so this is in the style of that previous, but it is a modern, I think, a modern release of the library style. Heartily recommend, particularly playing it at 33. This is a really chilled out listen. Now we're on to something completely different but similar. So this is something that I've got off of one of my favourite labels, the Freedom Air label. I think they pressed it, although it was a self-released album by the Lounge Bar Orchestra. So what this is a kind of homage to the UK TV soundtrack more than library album. And so what this is, the Lounge Bar Orchestra have developed a concept of so a concept here. Reg Ormeroyd is some long lost soundtrack maker, and he made soundtracks for the Ooze Water television company and television presentation. And this is an example of the greatest hits of some of the TV series. All of this is completely fictional and made up, never happened. So it's a homage. So it's quite amusing. So as is the case, it's got slightly descriptive names, but then it gives a more detailed description, which is where it's quite tongue-in-cheek. So the first track is called Fresh Laundry, but the description says, one of several different arrangements of Reg Ormeroyd's original theme tune for the children's television drama Washing Lines. This track will accompany the show's experimental montage sequences. In an exciting tie-up for Ooze Water Television, Fresh Laundry will also be used in a nationwide advertising campaign for Institutional Washing Powders Limited. Duration 3 minutes 30 seconds. So none of that is true. That's all made up. And the next one, Inspector Yoo-Hoo Calls. The story of D.I. Derek Yoo-Hoo. Inspector Yoo-Hoo Calls is a gritty yet playful police drama starring the celebrated theatre actor Sir Anthony Demerit as Sheriff Sheffield. It is set in the fictional northern town of Thwaitewood's Bluff. Duration 4 minutes 42 seconds, and it goes on like that. So it's all quite amusing, but at the end of the day, it's also a fantastic kind of library style, funky keyboard driven library record instrumental. So yeah, that's great. Enjoyed that. Slightly similar but different. So I showed a John Brooks album, and so this John Baggy Hi-Fi has shown this. I won't say too much about it. You can watch his video. So this is a thematic album with found sound and soundtrack type music called Shapwick, and it's a little bit eerie, a little bit funky, a little bit folky, around some village, and sort of it starts off with location, Please Drive Carefully, Winter's Hamlet, Bat Walk, Walking from the Wood to the Green, 12 Woods, Narrow Lanes. So it's kind of a trip through the village in the night, owls hooting, bats, the kind of bats echo sound going on. There's some spoken found sound on it. It's all, but it works generally. It's a little bit wacky, a little bit weird, but works as a concept. Sticking with John Brooks, and John Brooks has done a few of these. So this is John Brooks and his label, Cafe Kaput label, so this is all, I guess, John Brooks, Cafe Kaput, Ghost Box, Clay Pipe Records. These are all kind of a bit of a family. I treat them as a family. I kind of look at them all. They're all different labels, but they sometimes collaborate, and the artists collaborate with other artists, and it's difficult to keep track. But this is John Brooks' own label, Cafe Kaput, but I think it's available through the Ghost Box website. So for those of you familiar with any of those labels, we'll be able to kind of find this. So this is obviously a vinyl release, but this follows again that library music kind of theme. So it's a homage to a library music. So the theme of this is applied music. This one is science and nature. He's also got another one, I think, called plastics and something else. I've only got that digitally. I haven't got that on vinyl. I missed out on that on vinyl. But yeah, so it's got, because it's nature, it's got quite a lot of different aspects of nature. So this is a little bit of a varied listen, because some of it, like Cells in Action, that it's a lot of synth, analog synth based stuff. So Cells in Action's got a lot of blip, blip, blop, blop, blop of cells multiplying in a petri dish, if you can imagine. So that's and then that's followed sort of 2 tracks later by Seafloor Spread, which, if you can imagine, would be an underwater scene with an enemy, just kind of drifting in the ocean, very relaxing. So it is quite a varied listen, but all very interesting, and as I said, amusing. So but in the library style, it tells you. So what is Seafloor Spread? It's floating, ethereal, thematic, suspenseful. Well, that's what it is. So again, another kind of homage to the days of library music. And then the final one in this kind of theme I picked up, this is Plone. So this is on Ghostbox. In fact, this is the band Plone, and the album is called Puzzlewood. And this again is an album of instrumentals with a little bit of, from memory, I'm getting myself confused, but I think it's got a little bit of found sound and kind of field recordings in it. But this is very, very uplifting and upbeat in its excuse me, uplifting in its mood, and it's almost like everything on here could feature in kids TV, in terms of either be that a kids drama TV or kids kind of activity TV type programs. So you've got titles like Years and Elements, Miniature Magic, Watson's Telescope, Build a Small Fire, Day Trip, The Model Village, Chalk Stream. They're all quite short, kind of upbeat little numbers, but really interesting, and I really enjoyed this. Say if you're if you're in that kind of mood like me and enjoy that kind of music, yeah, I like this. So that's kind of 6 recent pickups, probably over the last 3 or 4 months that I've been kind of listening to these, and so I kind of pulled them together as a bit of a theme. And I may do a bit more on library type music, but I probably told you everything I know already. Yeah, so that's that. Thanks. Bye.